Hello, this is Reverend Stephanie Neal presenting the Book of Tarot. We are on Lesson 13, which we will be discussing the nines among other subjects. Our first subject is nice washing decks and nice washing readings. A nice washing deck is a soft deck with no devil or tower cards or no swords stabbing people. Everything is love and light. A nice wash reading is a loving reading. Now, I believe there are times to nice wash a reading or use a nice wash deck. Those that need to be built up and confirmed that their life will become better, or trying to see the silver lining in a tragedy. Nervous folks will be a good candidate for a nice washing reading, and you don't need a nice wash deck to perform a nice wash reading. An example of a nice washing deck is the Guardian Angel Tarot cards by Radley Valentine. So there is a place for nice washing at times. You see, integrity is the key word when reading for a seeker. Lightly assess the reader before selecting a deck or the type of reading you will perform. Nice wash decks gently move the querent forward, giving the seeker confidence, whereby a normal deck or reading pushes the seeker forward, giving them direct, good information in a kind, diplomatic manner. Individuals usually work on their shadows privately and do not want to be confronted unless they specifically request it. A dark deck or reading delivers information bluntly, yet a reader can still present this information in a diplomatic manner using a dark deck. Tarot is an open, honest medium, yet unkind is not being honest. It's just being unkind. More activities and tips to learn your deck. It is not recommended to start studying the tarot with the major arcana, due to the major arcana is a much deeper study dealing with humanity, spirituality, the cosmos, whereby the minors depict everyday living. Not that everyday living is heaped with deep dealings as well as spirituality. The next tip. One misses too much information when learning the tarot fast. Think of it this way. Tarot is not a destination. It is a journey. Next tip. Unless it is extremely easy for you, do not struggle memorizing the cards. Cards are to be experienced. When working with the card, ask yourself these following questions or something like these following questions. How does this card make me feel? How am I like this card? How am I different from this card? We're talking about energies. How does this card show up in my life? How do I know who is similar to this card? Or who do I know, sorry. What is an experience I have had with the energy of this card? So these questions help with having something in common with the cards, creating an experience. All right, next topic. What is the most important aspect of reading tarot? Okay, so the most important aspect in reading the tarot is the question in equal tandem with the spread. If you do not have a sincere, clear question, the answer will be muddled, at least in the beginning of the reading. As for the spread, each position in an effective spread answers a segment of the question. This is why this tandem is the most important in the process of reading the tarot. Then the tarot cards come into play in an exciting, open-ended way, for they are thought igniters, fire starters, earthquakes, and flood runners. We will get there, but for now, back to the question and spread. If your question is vague, the answer will be vague. The question should be crystal clear with no addendums attached to it. If the querent has difficulty asking a question clearly, write it down and take the essence of the question, and there is a good chance all addendums will be answered, but the core question surely. There are times the querent goes blank and really cannot think of a question, and that's fine. Then offer this question: what am I learning at the moment? Then that may help them with another question, or they may like that question. So now you have a good question. Let's talk about an effective spread. The cards can be laid out in any shape you like. It doesn't matter. If you like the Celtic cross formation, then use it. If you like the diamond formation, use it. I use either 2 or 3 lines, 5 cards on each line. Top line, general indicators; middle line, what is happening now; bottom line, what is under the surface of the issue. Though most of the time I use 2 lines and 10 cards. So select the formation you feel comfortable and the amount of cards that feel right. Then just focus on each position statement and look for the answers, reasons, actions in the cards through your knowledge of the cards and intuition. They basically a blending of your knowledge and your intuition. Each position is where a card is laid down, and the card answers what the position is offering, or the statement. A good idea at first: secure 10 index cards. Write the position statement on each card. Then, when it is time to lay out your spread, lay the tarot cards on each index card with that statement written on it that is already laid out on the table. So once again, it does not matter where you put the cards. So I'm going to give you the example that I usually use. All right, so the positions, you have 5 cards in a horizontal line on your table. The first card on the left will be number 1, and then the second card moving towards the right will be 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then just place a second line of cards underneath the first, and that will be 6 through 10. It's pretty easy. Because I'm not worried about positions, I'm worried about answering the questions of the querent, for finding answers and finding reasons to help the querent. I'm focusing in on opening my intuition, opening my imagination. So I'm too busy with all of that to be focusing on positions. I mean, how the cards are laid out. The position statements are important because they help. They help. All right. So each position addresses specific elements of the question. So you see, the question is really broken down in essence. So each tarot card laid upon the spread is a springboard to your imagination and intuition, which fosters the answers. All right, so you have these 10 cards in front of you, or you should have the 10 index cards in front of you to get started. So on the first index cards, you'll write position 1, and you know where that goes. Position 1 is the real question being asked or clarified. Shows how the seeker views their own question. So here, that first position is basically back to the question again, and really making sure that this is what the court is really asking. So we want to help them. That's the whole purpose. The second position. What is the seeker trying to accomplish in life? And you think, now, wait a minute, that has nothing to do with the question. But it does. It always does. It always relates back to their own life and what they're trying to accomplish in life. So it really does equate to any question that they may ask. The position 3. Actions the seeker is taking to remedy this situation or issue. How the querent sees herself or himself, at the moment. And you can select one or the other here. You can focus in on actions the seeker is taking to remedy the situation and just focus in on that. Or you can just focus on how the querent sees her or himself. Or you can blend together, yes. The fourth position shows what happens in the near future, shows the quick actions taken, the quick results happening. That can be broken down also. You can focus in on one aspect here or all of them. But this is about near future happenings. It's about what they want to know, what can I do now to make this stop or make this start? So this is a really, well, they're all important. They're all important positions. But this gets to the heart. And they want action now, and yet they're the one that has to do the action to create the results. Then the fifth position is an asset the seeker holds now in life, or this asset is soon entering their life. So this is just clarifying. You'll see in the card what asset or assets the seeker advantages might be another good word for this, that the seeker holds to achieve what they want, or to clarify what they want, or access what they want. Then the sixth position, an opportunity they can look for in the future. So here we've just talked about the future that's going to be happening quickly, and then this is farther out, but it's also talking about focusing on an opportunity that they can see and take and utilize to change their life. The seventh position, the issues, the issue's timing, or the seeker's timing, or the issue's timing versus the seeker's timing. Because you know how that can happen sometimes. You may have your timing, but Goddess has her timing. Or there may be other people inside this issue and they have their timing. Position 8. The situation's purpose or the issue's purpose. Or even the achievement's purpose. Or the tragedy's purpose. See, there's lots and lots of ways you can fill in that statement. An obvious blind spot. If it shows up in the card, if it doesn't, fine. Don't go looking for something that is not super obvious, especially when you're too busy finding reasons and explanations. And so, yeah. Position 9. How can I see opportunities and not miss them when they are there? So that somewhat is connects with the blind spot of position 8, but it's just a little asked a little differently. Again, it is two different statements, so that can just open up all kinds of things when you place the card on this index card or this position. So you see how lots and lots of things start percolating to the surface just by these position questions. Then position 10, outcome, or prediction, because most quorums do like to have predictions, even though you have already given a prediction in many of these positions. 4 gives you a prediction, so there. 6 gives you a prediction. So if you just want to focus in on outcome, and the rest of that statement is, or what do they really want in life? Because there are times when a quorant will sit there and begin discussing their life, and then they start realizing and saying things like, I never realized, but I think I would like to do that in my life. And I never thought about it until now. So nice little things happen like that in a reading. Then even though we don't have a 11th position, but the last set of questions is that we now look at all 10 cards, and it's an overview of all 10 cards and what are they saying, and what is the reading's conclusion, the heart of the matter. So that's very a broad statement. That's where, well, you find the conclusion or you discuss the conclusion, because all the cards are already turned over, and you discuss the cards. And about turning them over, that's your choice. If you want to turn them over one by one, if you want to turn them over all at once, it really, it's up to you. So the main questions here, because now as you're asking yourself these questions, you're looking at the card, and the main questions you're asking are reasons. You're looking for reasons why this is happening, even though there's some people that don't want to know the reasons. They just want to move on, and they want to know how do I improve this situation, and that okay, now you're looking for hows, no, the how of how things will happen in the future. How do I achieve this? You're looking for the whys, the whens, uh, and so forth. Um, so you are getting much from the cards, but you see how these position statements really uh, springboard you into the symbols of the cards. And I'm going to be talking about that just in a few minutes anyway. All right, so now working with our intuition. All right, well, I thought of one more thing. And as you see the reader, you can see how the reader's really busy interpreting so much. Uh, but don't be overwhelmed. Just focus in on each position and each card, and soon you'll find that you'll get more comfortable as time goes on. So as you're reading it, you're also peeking at other cards because you see how they can really connect to this position or that, and you start getting a feel of the motion of the reading process, that there's a, a real fluidity as you move through. All right. So working with our intuition, because that's what we really do as we're reading the positions, and that's what we're doing when we're looking at the cards. Well, there are several ways to approach our intuition. Of course, there's meditation and thought-provoking activities and no thought activities, and need or a lack of something causes our imagination to gear up and to move to and through that intuition door. So let's look at tarot. If we study the scenes, symbols, and we allow our imagination to run wild, we will have thoughts bubbling up that we have studied, i.e., the symbols and the pictures and the scenes that we've studied, plus things we have not studies uh, will enter our mind, meaning our intuition door has opened and we are filled with both intellectual ideas, meaning the things we've studied, emotion ideas, lots of clear reasoning bubbles up, and information from our intuition, all blending together at times, and other times it is made clear which is which. The scene in the card or a symbol in the scene helps answer the question and the position, even if it has nothing to do with the question at hand, the one that the card gives us. It can be any symbol, does not have to relate to the question, but it will answer the question because you've now opened your imagination and you are more aware that your intuition has always been opened. So the scene or symbol ignites our imagination, where everything is possible, which is the door to our vast intuition. So in summary, we are igniting a light that allows us to pull back and see the bigger picture. And from a distance, we now are able to see that that light has created a star, our intuition. Our intuition is the star. Our intuition is lighted by our needs and passions. Anything can light our wild imagination, which releases something that has always been here, ready to be utilized by every being, our intuition. So let us return to the initial question. What is the most important aspect for tarot reading? The answer now can be our imagination, which opens our intuition awareness. Or the question can be reasonably answered. An effective spread, a good question, and imagination finds the heart of the star, the heart of the matter. Interpretations, the nines, general observations. All right, so the nines, my general observations are, I notice that every person seems to be overwhelmed or no, overcome by something, taking every second of their time possibly. The man in the nines of wands is overtaken by wands, having his, even though they are having his back. The nine of cups, the man is overcome with his loving abundance. The nine of swords, the woman is overwhelmed with despair. Her heart has been pierced. See the sword on the wall going through her back. And lastly, the nine of wands, we see a lovely lady of the manor training her falcon. She is overflowing with abundance, intelligence, and influence in her life. Now the nine of wands, wait. The figure leans upon his staff and has an expectant look, as if awaiting an enemy. Behind are 8 other staves, erect in orderly disposition, like a palisade. Meanings: the card signifies strength in opposition. If attacked, the person will meet an onslaught boldly, and his build shows that he may prove to be a formidable antagonist. With this main significance, there are all these possible adjuncts: delay, suspicion, adjournment, reversed, obstacles, adversity, calamity. Albano, expectation of difficulties and changes. Anticipation, hidden enemies, deception, discipline, order, a pause in current struggle. Mary Packard, hardship and change, a pause in an ongoing project to battle changes, or challenges, starting over, reversed, barriers, obstacles, illness. Mathers, order, discipline, good arrangement, disposition, reversed, obstacles, crosses, delay, displeasure. Neal, strength, battered but victorious, defending yourself, protect yourself, stronger and wiser, clarity and objectivity, bringing light unto a situation, waking up. The final fight before the last issue is solved, the last piece of information. Challenges, push us forward. Wounded, but still standing, you will prevail. Nine of Cups. Wait. A goodly personage has feasted to his heart's content, and abundant refreshment of wine is on the arched counter behind him, seeming to indicate that the future is also assured. The picture offers the material side only, but there are other aspects, meanings, concord, contentment, physical, also victory, success, advantage, satisfaction for the querent or person for whom the consultation is made, reversed. Truth, loyalty, liberty. But the readings vary and include mistakes, imperfections, etc. But see, here it shows that reversed isn't always negative. Albano, success, material attainment, advantage, well-being, abundance, good health, difficulties, surmounted. Reversed, mistakes, material loss, imperfections, misplaced trust, false freedom, oppression, differences, Packard. A happy outlook, all's right with the world, balance and harmony, desired outcome in all realms, reversed, confusion, disorientation. Mathers, victory, advantage, success, triumph, difficulties surmounted. Reversed, faults, errors, mistakes, imperfections. Neal, happiness, advantage, physicality, satisfaction, opening to new ideas, loyalty, abundance, time to take a spiritual journey, liberty, a good future is assured, desires will be fulfilled. We now have the Nine of Swords. Wait. One seated on her couch in lamentation, with the swords over her. She is as one who knows no sorrow, which is like unto hers. It is a card of utter desolation, meanings, death, failure, miscarriage, delay, deception, disappointment, despair, reversed, imprisonment, suspicion, doubt, reasonable fear, shame. Albano, concern, miscarriage, anxiety over a loved one, despair. Packard, winning against all odds, making the best of a bad situation, reversed, inattention to detail, lack of focus, carelessness. Mathers, an ecclesiastical, a priest, conscious probity, good faith, integrity, reversed, wise distrust, suspicion, fear, doubt, shady character. The card following will show whom or what to distrust. Neal, self-cruelty, sleepless nights, lost passion, feeling like you have been stabbed in the back, overcome with sadness, promise of new life, suspicion, nightmares, regrets, insecurity, depression, delays, pining, oppression. Look inside and see your worth. Now, with the Marseille, the 1709 interpretations, has a much more cheerier interpretation of this card. But as you can see, through time, this card has evolved into a not so pleasant card. But if you're doing a nice washing, then at least you know that you have every right to interpret this as a good card, because in that particular time with the Marseille, it was and can be now a good card. In fact, it interprets it basically as success, uh, coming to terms with her attainment. She is awakening to a painful realization. So sometimes success isn't all fun and games. Sometimes it's there's lots of hardship that can be accompanied with success. But even though this card does read, um, at least at that particular time, as success, it's a success card, though it certainly does not look like a success. But yet you have to remember Versailles' Nine of Swords was not this picture. In fact, none of the pips had pictures. Okay, the Nine of Pentacles. Wait. A woman with a bird upon her wrist stands, even though it's a falcon, amidst a great abundance of grapevines in the garden of a manorial house. It is a wide domain, suggesting plenty in all things. Possibly it is her own possessions, and testifies to material well-being, meanings, prudence, safety, success, accomplishment, certitude, discernment, reversed, roguery, deception, voided project, bad faith. Albano, accomplishment, discernment, discretion, foresight, prudence, material well-being, love of nature. Packard, self-confidence, independence, ambition, stability, reversed upheaval. Mathers, discretion, circumspection, prudence, discernment, reversed, deceit, bad faith, deception. Neal, self-reliance, celebrating the lushness of nature, exploration, work that will last for generations, leadership, wealth, training, recognition, showcasing your abilities, independence, network. All right, so those are the interpretations. We're now coming to approach card request. There are some questions you can ask the cards as you are reading for a querent and self-study. Ask the cards to reveal the querent's spiritual life if the question is spiritual. Ask the cards to reveal the querent's personal life if that is what the querent desires. If the querent's career life is happy, same thing, if that is what the querent desires. Reading for path working is usually done for those reading with their own study decks they solely utilize to work on their own life path. Relationship readings are popular when reading for a querent. A nice large spread is enjoyable to read with a relationship question. Solutions will bubble up as the conversation moves forward. Now, a simple spread is a 3-card spread, which the first card represents you, the second card represents me, or if the person is talking about their relationship, then the other person in the relationship, and the middle card represents us. So it's called the you, me, us spread. Now, glossary. We already talked about dark decks, and we talked about nice washing decks and readings. But we're talking about decks. So this is the reading decks. They're decks that one uses to read either professionally or personally, to find answers for their life by interpreting or reading the deck. Some decks are read seasonally, while others are read daily. Some decks are for dark readings, others are for ordinary readings, while others are for nice washing readings. Dark decks and dark readings. Dark decks are used for dark readings, of course, yet one can perform a dark reading with an ordinary deck, and you can perform an ordinary reading with a dark deck if it's not too dark. Yeah. Dark decks are not evil, though they can be creepy at times and evil looking. Some folks enjoy doing dark readings with dark decks in the fall around Samhain and Halloween, while others use dark decks for all seasons. They have a heavy feeling to them, interpreting disturbing scenes that hopefully will deal with deep, heavy readings. I guess it's that springboard thing again to help you go there, to go into that place that needs to be dealt with. And somewhat, dark decks seem to, I guess, give blunter, in your face answers, direct to the point. Not that an ordinary reading can also be direct and to the point. Uh, it, it's good for shadow work, also good for yes, no answers. Dark decks are not good for general readings or for individuals that have lots of baggage in their life, or definitely not a first timer. And don't use it with I guess a person that has deep emotional, I don't know how to describe it. I guess maybe a little bit of an imbalance, or off their medications, and they're just in a not a good place in their life. Uh, just with a serious mental illness, or even have suffered a deep emotional uh, trauma. So yeah, so we want to not just say, all right, we're going to do a dark deck, and oh, you've just experienced a loss in your life. Let's sit down and let's go. No, no, no. So here are a few examples of dark decks. The 8 Coins Tattoo Tarot. Tarot of Vampires, even though it's spelled Vampyres. The Tattoo Tarot, Ink and Intuition. Antique Anatomy Tarot. That's the one with skeletons. And some people say that's good for relationship readings. You wouldn't think that, but all right. And there's the Deviant Moon Tarot. That's a pretty cool deck. New Era Elements, the Z Tarot, Crooked Way Tarot, Halloween themed. That's creepy. Singing Serpent. But Singing Serpent is out of print. Yeah. All right. So Tarot of Unknown Shadows, the Tarot of Curiosities, Darkness of Light Tarot, Santa Muerte Tarot. That might be Spanish, which is great. And I know that they're offering more and more Spanish decks lately. The Bohemian Gothic Tarot, the Zombie Tarot, and I'm sure there's many more dark decks. But yeah, so that's just a sampling. Then there's study decks. These tarot decks are for studying the tarot. Each deck is like reading another book, describing another vantage point or perception of the story of humanity and the cosmos. There's always something to learn from most decks. I mean, you can study decks for years and years and years and still be wanting for more information. So it's a beautiful thing. Ordinary decks and readings, we know what those are. Ordinary decks and readings are for giving a good reading that reveals opportunities and hope, balance with diplomatic instruction. Deck. Then there's deck collections. There are folks that collect decks for many reasons. One reason is that they love the artwork. In fact, there are individuals that don't even read cards uh, or even study the decks. They just receive immense joy collecting tarot decks. But I've heard that some will then eventually decide, well, I think I will learn how to read the cards, or I think I will start I'll start studying each deck to see what happens there, which of course they will love that. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed that. Until next time, blessed be.